Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another wonderful video of fixing things. Today I've got a Apple iPad. It's got a cracked digitizer. I think this one still is functional, but you got broken glass, jagged. So we're going to replace it. A buddy of mine had it, asked me to fix it for him, so that's what we're going to do today. What we're going to do is we're going to use a heat gun. You can use a hair dryer too, that'll work. Because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to heat up around the perimeter. You have an adhesive that holds this digitizer onto the frame, the bezel, whatever you want to call it. So we got to heat that up so that we can pry this digitizer screen off. So that's what we're going to do. You can get you a replacement digitizer from eBay, Amazon. So it's pretty simple. Probably run you anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. And you can get them. Some have the adhesive already on it. This one, I believe, does. You see, you might be able to see it has the adhesive film on it. So you just peel the backing off of it. It's got the camera plate and the home button attached already, so you don't have to take all that stuff off. But that's what a new one looks like. You got your ribbon cable here. Pretty simple. Some of them will come with some tools to help you as well. So that's cool, kind of a plus, so that you don't have to buy the tools. I've already got tools, but this one came with a little baggie of tools, a couple pry bars, screwdrivers, suction cup, which the suction cup doesn't really work. It's crap. Doesn't really hold. There's probably other suction cups that work better. So that's what the new one looks like. A couple things. When you are prying this screen off, you have your upper right corner, you have your power button and your volume control. On this upper right corner, there is a very tiny ribbon cable for these things that if you're not careful, you will sever. First time I replaced an iPad digitizer, I did that. I wasn't careful enough and I severed that cable and I had to get a new one. It's not a big deal, a couple bucks, but it was a pain replacing it because it's so tiny, it's like microsurgery. Another thing, on the bottom left corner, you have your Wi-Fi antenna. I believe it's right down here. So that's another thing that you can sever if you're not careful. Also, on your lower left side is going to be where your digitizer ribbon cable is, so you could possibly damage that, or the LCD cable, so you want to be careful when you get around to those three areas. Otherwise, you may want to be careful around the camera area, just so you don't hit anything there as well, because that's got a ribbon cable as well as the home button, but the rest of it, but you want to be careful no matter what, because you don't want to damage anything else while you're trying to fix one thing and damage another. So what we'll do is we're going to start by heating up with our heat gun or hair dryer around the perimeter. You want to keep it about 3 or 4 inches away and keep it moving. You don't want it to stay in one spot too long. You don't want to overheat the LCD screen because it could damage it, or any other components inside. So you just want to slowly heat up the perimeter so that you can heat up this adhesive so that you can slowly pry the digitizer out. So that's what I'm going to start to do now. So I get it better. And just put it on low, and you just can keep it 3 or 4 inches away. I'm just going to move it around. Keep it moving. because you want to heat it up, but you don't want to heat it up too fast. You don't want to overheat it. And if you're going to do this, just plan on, you know, putting an hour or two into it so that you can take your time. And because like I said, it's a pain if you're trying to fix one thing and then you end up damaging something else, and you got to order another part, wait for that to come in, and that can just be a pain. So personal experience. So, and just plan on when you start prying this screen up that you probably have to heat it up a little bit more in some areas because the adhesive will start to cool off and harden back up. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so I've started heating it up a little bit, and you can see I've got my metal pry bar up under the screen, and these kits, they come with a couple picks. This is a nice little tool. It's kind of like a pick, but it has a couple little edges on it. Helps you get up under the screen, kind of work around it. Also, if you're a guitarist, then you have, like I am, you have plenty of these laying around, so these work great, guitar picks. So what I'm doing is slowly heating it up, and just once you get up under there a little bit, you can kind of put a couple picks as you move around just to keep it up off of the frame so it doesn't start to tack back to it, and then you just slowly work your way around. Alright, so now that I got that, I got my one corner up a little bit, I'm going to heat up some more and just kind of slowly work my way around. You want to take your time, you don't want to rush it, because while you're trying to get this screen off, it could crack any more, and when I get around to the broken area, I'm going to get glass coming off, so you just want to be careful with that. But you take your time and slowly work your way around, it'll be alright. And I'm probably staying about 2 inches away. Just keep it moving. You want to get it pretty warm, but you don't want to overheat the LCD. What I'll do is just grab another pick here, kind of wedge it up under there, kind of keep my place, and then I'll just move this one through. Slowly. You can use one of these metal pry bars, but you want to be careful. You don't want to go too far into it. You just basically do this, work your way around, and then you can just pull it right up. I usually prefer a Microsoft Surface tablet myself over an iPad, just because you can do a lot more with it. But one thing with repairing a Surface tablet over an iPad, the Surface tablets, their digitizer and the LCD are glued together with a type of ultraviolet adhesive, so it's almost nearly impossible to separate the two. So if you have a good LCD and a broken digitizer, I'd recommend just replacing the whole assembly, the LCD and digitizer together, because it's damn near impossible to separate the two. And it's going to cost a little bit more, but it's just the way to go. With an iPad, the LCD and the digitizer are not glued together, so replacing the digitizer, if you have a good LCD, is pretty simple. You don't have to worry about trying to separate the two. So that's the good thing about the iPad. I'm just going to kind of slowly work my way around. The adhesive is softening up. As you can see, I can kind of move my pick. So we got this corner separated. And I'm just going to work my way around, and it's going to take a little bit of time. I want to take my time. I don't want to damage anything. So we'll just continue doing that. Now when you get to the shattered glass part, it's going to be a little tricky because it's going to want to come off in pieces, so you got to be careful. You can see this little piece here. So you got a bunch of little pieces. So you just got to be careful. Try to get back up under there and pry the broken pieces out, so that you can continue working your way around. Just speed it up as you go. And you can see that I've got most of this left side pried up, so we're making our way, but you take your time. Haste makes waste. See if I can get my pick up under here. It's kind of too thick. So I got my pry bar up under there now. That'll give me a little something to slide a pickup under. Gonna have to heat it up a little bit more, but at least I got that corner started. I can work on sliding it across and just heat that adhesive up a little bit more. Just keep sliding. Take your time. Slowly moving across. See where we're getting it lifted up. So just keep keep working my way around. Okay, so now you see that I'm over here at all the shattered glass. So I just gotta easily pick the pieces. Just be careful. Just easily. Pry the little pieces out of there. Good stuff. That's the most time-consuming part. Is just the all the pieces of shattered glass. It comes off in little pieces. So I'm gonna just continue working my way around here, get all this off. Okay, I want to show you now that I have exposed it in this lower area here, right at the home button. You'll see this little tab. That is your Wi-Fi antenna, and it will be stuck to the back of the screen. So when you get over here right at the home button, you have to be very careful to get in between the Wi-Fi antenna and the screen. So this was all shattered, so it was a little easier for me to pick it away from it, but you'll see that tab, that's your Wi-Fi antenna, and it will be stuck to the back of the screen. So when you're prying in this area, you got to be very careful not to damage that. Okay, now got it pried. We're going to open it up. You're going to open it up on the right side, because the left side is where your ribbon cable is, and you don't want to damage that. So we're gonna open this up. Get some of that adhesive kind of retacked a little bit. So you can see your ribbon cable is right there for your digitizer. Now that I'm not too worried about, because the digitizer's garbage anyway. But I don't want to damage anything else while I'm doing that, so I just want to be careful. I'm just going to open that up just like that. Alright, now what we're going to do, so you got your LCD exposed, so you want to be careful because you can still damage that. We've got a few screws in the corners that we're going to have to take out so that we can lift that LCD, and we're basically going to open that up the same way, and then it will expose the ribbon cable that's over here as well, so that you can unhook the digitizer. So we're going to take these screws out. I believe there's about 4 of them, 1 in each corner, and then we're going to take that out. Alright, so I'm taking these 4 screws out that mount the LCD in place. Basically each corner has one, and they are super tiny, so I use a fridge magnet to sit them on, that way they don't get lost. Just take these little tiny screws out, put them on the fridge magnet. See, super tiny. Alright, so now we're going to pry this LCD, and we're just going to flip it over like a book, and you're going to see the cable for the LCDs exposed, and there's a little latch there I'm going to open up, and then we can unhook the LCD so that we can get to the ribbon cable, which is right here for the digitizer, so we can unhook that. I don't know if I can get any closer. Let's see if I can. You'll see probably not going to focus very well, but there's a little clip that you just got to flip up, and I need something real small to do it. Let's see. Little tiny flathead will work. You just flip that up, and then I can unplug. There we go. We got the cable for the LCD disconnected, so now I can remove the LCD out of the way. So now that we got the LCD separated, I'll just give you a little look at this. I want to take care of this because this is still good. This is your picture. There's the cable. So we're going to set this aside. For safekeeping. Now we are going to disconnect the digitizer. And you'll see the digitizer cable right here, and it hooks right there. So we're going to disconnect these. It's like a 2-part cable here, so we're going to disconnect that, and then that'll take this broken digitizer off, and we can clean up around the frame, and then we can start putting everything back together. Now the back of the ribbon cable for the digitizer has a little sticky film on it that allows it to stay in place. So we're just going to pry this up just like a little sticker. Not really worried about damaging this cable because it's the old digitizer, so it's not that big of a deal. So you'll see that you have this two-part connector here. That's where your digitizer ribbon cable is connecting. So we're just going to disconnect that, and then the digitizer will be free. Now I'm going to try to show you. It's probably going to be difficult, but there's little tiny black tabs on got one on each of these plugs that you got to lift up so that you can slide the ribbon cable out. So I've got both of those, and then I'm just going to slide this ribbon cable out, and there we go. That's the ribbon cable. Now, the digitizer. Got some of this. This is just your some of the adhesive, but the old digitizer's out of the way. Now what I'm going to have to do is I've got a lot of broken glass still attached to this side of the frame, so I'm going to have to clean all this up and make sure I get the frame around cleaned up, and then I can get ready to install the new digitizer. Alright, so I'm cleaning off all this excess glass and adhesive off the frame, and I want to show you. So I got a little bit more glass and stuff to clean off here, but if I can get the camera just right, you'll see right here, is a real small ribbon cable. Right there, going across here. And that's why you got to be real careful, because that thing is so small. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it. That thing is so small and so thin, it's so fragile that it won't take much to just slice right through that. And that's your power and your volume ribbon cable. So you sever that and you won't have any power. So right here, it kind of comes across and then it comes underneath. But right there is where you'll catch it when you're trying to pry this stuff up if you're not careful. And it is very tiny. So I just got a little bit more glass and adhesive to clean up over here. And then you'll see how the metal frame, some of the adhesive just kind of peels off, so it's not too bad, not too hard to clean up. But I'll get that cleaned up, and then I can reinstall the LCD and then go ahead and install the digitizer. Okay, so now I am ready to go ahead and attach the new digitizer and put the LCD back on. And you'll notice that this digitizer that I purchased already has the home button assembly already on there. And the little bracket for the camera. So with this old digitizer, I don't have to take that stuff off and reuse it since I've already got it on there. But if you buy a digitizer that does not come with the home button and the camera plate already attached, you can easily take them off. There's 2 screws for the home button to pop that off, and then you can just transfer it. And this plate for the camera just kind of pries off, so you can put that back on as well. But just something to think about. Makes it a little easier if you buy one that already has it on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach the digitizer ribbon cable, and then I can go ahead and put the LCD on. Now, one thing I've got to do first is the Digitizer has the adhesive film on it. So I've got to pry the little bit of backing off of the adhesive film so that I can go ahead and be ready to attach that here shortly. So, and you'll see on the back of the Digitizer the adhesive film. So you just peel the backing off to expose the adhesive so that you can go ahead and attach that. And then I'll go ahead and hook this ribbon cable up. So you'll see that I'm just going to peel this, if I can get a hold of it, peel this backing off to expose the adhesive. You just do that all the way around of the Digitizer so that that's done. Got a few pieces to take off. So I'll finish doing that and then I'll go ahead and hook up the ribbon cable. Okay, so now I'm going to connect my ribbon cable to the two ports here. And then remember, you got the little plastic tabs that once you slide the ribbon cable in place, you'll pull those tabs down to lock it in place. And this is kind of delicate and small, and I've got big fingers, so it's a little bit of a pain for me. Almost got it. And you can use a little plastic tool if you need to help push it in. It's got like little dotted lines on it that'll show you once you get those right to the edge of the plug, then you know you got it in there all the way. Okay, so it looks like I've got that plugged in good. I'm gonna push these little tabs down, lock it in place. All right, now I'm ready to go ahead and put the LCD back in here, get that connected, and then we'll be able to test it out, see how she works. Go ahead and grab this LCD, and we're gonna hook this thing in, get this thing plugged in. Kind of the same deal. A little bit of a pain because I got to hold it up while I'm trying to plug it in. But all right, so I got it started, and I'm just going to use my little plastic tool to push it in all the way. See if I can do it so you can see. Just give it a little nudge on each side until it's fully locked in. Okay, so she's plugged in all the way. Now I got this little metal tab that I'm going to fold down and lock in place. That locks that in place. So now the LCD's hooked up, the Digitizer's hooked up, and we're going to boot it up and see how she's working. Okay, so I've set the LCD in place, and I'm going to go ahead and put the 4 screws back in to secure that, and then we'll be able to go ahead and fold over the digitizer, get that in place, and she'll be ready to fire up. Now, I just got to get these screws without dropping any of them because they're so tiny. Okay, that's one. Get these others in place here. And got the last one here. Alright, now we got the screws in place. Alright, so now we got the screws in for the LCD. I've got this little protective film on the back side of the digitizer. You want to pull that off. Set that aside. And we're going to fold this over and get this digitizer sitting in place. Just get it sitting inside the bezel here. Just work your way around. Make sure it's sitting in there. I could do a little pressing to it around. Get the adhesive to stick to the frame, and we are about done. And we'll just check around for any gaps, anything that make sure it's seated properly. Then we can crank this thing up, and see how she's working. Alright, so we got the iPad all put back together. I'm going to leave the protective film on the top cover of the digitizer so my buddy can take that off when he gets it. And Bruce, if you're watching, appreciate you. Alright, let's try it out. Alright, so we got our picture. It's looking good. Let's see here. So we'll swipe. That's working. I don't have the code, so I can't, and it's disabled. So, but screen's working, touch is working, so that's good enough for me. We're good to go. So hopefully this helps somebody. Have a good one.